Hi everybody, this is Jasmine coming to you from our Notch Higher Living YouTube channel. This is a place where we create spaces and environments for healthy relationship skills to be learned, developed, to practice, and to ultimately thrive. The way that I do this is I have book reviews that I post once a week, and here we go again. So this week I'm going to be reviewing a book from a person that I know really well, and that's from Jasmine Bailey. That'll be me. So I hope you enjoy this book review. Let's get into the book review. Okay, the book is entitled Finding a Space in Life by Jasmine Bailey. The book has 54 pages, and this is my first book. I published it on, well, technically my second book, but my first book published on Amazon. So let's get into the points. Since I am the author, I'm going to share it from a more personal perspective of what and the reason why I wrote the book. So my first point for this book, the reason why I wrote it, is that I looked at history to understand the present. I had a mentor who suggested that I write or learn more about my family history and write it to possibly help me find that way forward. I don't think that it is a bad thing for us to look at the past and to understand where we came from. I do know that there are thought processes that we don't need to dredge up the past. We should just move forward. And I agree that we don't have to dredge up the past. What I do understand is that we need to understand the past so that we can know how to move forward in a way that's healthier and or that is better than what we did in the past. If we don't know why we are here, or why we or what we do in our lives that continue to have us to have patterns that we may or may not particularly want, we won't be able to build off of that. So I think looking at our history to understand the present so that we can create even a better future is what is very helpful. So that's point number one. And then number two, it really runs right into that, is to acknowledge your story and not be afraid to share it. So acknowledge your story and not be afraid to share it. One thing that I understood about myself is that there are things that I didn't know about myself, and once I acknowledge my story, I can be able to share it in a way that's confident and that's clear and that's concise. One thing that this book helped me see is that my story is what it is. It's not the end all be all, and it's not ultimately all good, or it's not ultimately all bad. It's what it is. And to acknowledge that, and then to be able to not be afraid to share it, that was really helpful and very freeing, because once I know truth, there is a verse in the Bible that says it can set you free. And the truth is a freeing thing. It's one thing that's scary too. People have been killed for the truth, but it really does set free. So I'm not saying that this book is going to get you killed. What I am saying is that you don't have to be in bondage or in a place of fear of the past or what you don't know, and staying in lies or myths or whatever it is about your life in this dark place where you don't know anything. To be able to experience your life as it is, your emotions, your internal thought processes, anything that you've experienced, to be able to look at it, acknowledge it, but then ultimately not let fear stop you from facing it and from being able to go forward. So again, finding a space in life. And then the last point in the book, it says do not resell because it's the proof. So you wouldn't have this on your book if you purchased it, FYI. So one of the things that helped me as I was moving through life is coming up to this mind map. And that's what I share in the book, how it came through. I had a coaching session, and I created a mind map. And what a mind map is simply is putting down your ideas and your thoughts around a topic and being able to see how it connects. So the last point that I have is that it helped me see a model that I didn't know that I was really working through my life in a way that I didn't know how to articulate. So it helped me come up with a model called Healthy by Design. And ultimately, Healthy by Design is taking the framework of, I come from a biblical background and I come from a biblical worldview. So understanding that everything in life, it is created and made by God, and He has a perfect design. However, because there's so much sin entered the world, and there are forces that are going and working against what He ultimately designed. So it's not an automatic that my life is going to be in a productive, orderly fashion just because. There are things that I have to put into life and that I have to put into my world in order for them to align in a healthy way. For example, a tree doesn't simply grow because I throw seeds out in the soil, or a plant doesn't automatically grow because I throw seeds out in the soil. I have to put effort. It has to be cultivated, the soil, and then two, once it starts coming up, there are things that would hinder the plant or the tree from sprouting and growing to its fullest capacity if I don't put pieces or proper measures in place for it to grow in a straight and aligned way, and also the most healthy way. So the Healthy by Design concept or model that I saw for myself, it was from a biblical perspective, seeing 6 areas of my life that I needed to make sure I put in a succinct and in a way that was healthy for its growth to be, it was healthy for it to be in the way that it grew. So I'm going to say that hopefully this will be able to be edited. So I realized there were 6 areas in life that I needed to put focus on and make sure that in the areas that I was looking at, in those 6 areas, that I was putting intention, I was putting faith, I was putting focus, and I was putting the action that needed to be according to a biblical worldview, and that I had measures in place that it can produce fruitful and productive and healthy results. So the 6 areas, it is emotional, financial, physical, relational, spiritual, and vocational, or career. So ultimately, the book is sharing how on the first part of my life, I learned a lot of things that I didn't know previously about my family history. And it's not everything about my family history, but enough for me to put pieces together that I had already been thinking of, and I had already started experiencing myself, but then not minimizing. It wasn't a minimization of my family or my family background or even my history as an African American or as a black American. What it was is me actually looking at it and seeing what the truth of my past and my history, and actually acknowledging it so I can look at myself and say, what type of life do I want to live moving forward? So once I was able to clearly and realistically look at my past, understand in my present, I was the creator and I was the determining factor of how I move forward in the present, and then ultimately making a decision in myself and in my heart and in my emotions to say, what do you want to produce, and what do you want to have left as a legacy for your future? And bringing those things together and being able to move forward in life in that way. What I realize, and hopefully this book can help you realize, that it's not a bad thing for you to want to aspire to being all that you were created and designed to be. What I realize and what I ultimately believe for myself and for you as well is that it's not going to happen by happenstance. It's going to take deliberate, intentional, committed, focused effort, energy, and faith. And there has to be love all interspersed through it. Like, love has to be the root of why we do everything that we do. So I am no longer in a place where I have to be afraid of speaking and saying and stating truth. But the way that I was able to find a space in life was to stop, assess, adjust, and then move forward in a way that produces different and better results. So, finding a space in life, this is the back of the book. Finding a space in life. You can find it on Amazon. Again, this is a book authored by me and written by me for you and for us to be able to create those spaces and to create those places and environments where we can have times to be able to learn, to develop, to practice, and to thrive in our healthy relationship skills. So, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this book review. If you have any books that you are interested in me reviewing, or if you're an author who would have something that you would like for us to learn about healthy relationship skills and how we can get better equipped and better focused at being our best, please send me an email and I would love to connect with you. So that's all I have for you right now, but I would like you to know that you can do what you were designed to do, and also being who you are is so much more important than what you do. Thank you very much, and until next time, you have a great day. Bye-bye.